At the half of Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis, it is the Philadelphia Eagles up 22-12 on the defending Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots. Of course, Nick Foles with the score that gave the Eagles a 10-point deficit. Hello, everybody. Welcome in to our Super Bowl live halftime show here on NFL Network. I am Rhett Lewis here with two guys far more captivating than Justin Timberlake. Down on the edge, it is my man, our Super Bowl champion general manager back in Super Bowl 26, the last time the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis.
Last time in Minneapolis, yeah. Minneapolis was good to the Redskins, okay?
Yes, it was.
And good to me.
Charlie Cat down on the edge there for us, right next to me, champion in Super Bowl 41 right here, Reggie Wayne with the Colts. Actually, you were in the locker room at one of the most iconic halftime shows ever with Prince out there in the purple rain. And here we are in studio today getting you caught up with what's been a fantastic first half of action at US Bank Stadium with the Eagles leading 10 points. And by all stretches, that's not an insurmountable halftime deficit for these New England Patriots, as we've seen before. Right, guys?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
We've seen this story
I sat here last year and did the same thing. Let's start with how the half finished with a spectacular touchdown catch by Nick Foles.
Wow.
So I guess in one category, Nick Foles is better than Tom Brady.
Well, time out here. Now, wait a minute. Hey, you got a guy who's, 40 years old, running down. He's trying to catch the ball like
Over
this.
His shoulder,
Here you got a young kid in his 20s. It's right here, a little soft one, little thing on it. Hey, it's a great call, though. Give him a call. Great call.
Great call.
But you know what happens? Some teams, what they'll do is they'll have a guy study other people's tape throughout the week, looking for different things. I don't know if they did this, but you pointed out, Reggie showed us here, the Detroit, he picked it right up. He said, hey, he had it on his phone. He showed us before on air.
Yeah.
Detroit ran this play. Maybe that's a play they picked up. When you're playing, when you got 2 weeks to prepare, you can put in some things you haven't done. That's an advantage. New England does a great job in red zone because they can figure out what you're doing. Hey, no one's going to figure out that play. Great call by Philadelphia.
And Reggie, let's not forget, that was a fourth down call.
Fourth down call. That's what you call gambling.
Yeah,
with all capital letters right there. But that was a gutsy call, and it worked out for him. It's one of those things where if it works, it's awesome. If it doesn't, we'll talk about it at the end of the game.
It's a disaster, right? Well, as you can imagine, some social media reaction rolling in after that touchdown catch from Nick Foles. Justin Bethel. Wow, what a play. That pretty much sums it up. That's basically what we were dealing with when we watched it. Brandon LaFell, what a call. Hashtag Fly Eagles Fly as well. And how about our guy Kurt Warner? Would Kurt have made that catch?
I don't know.
Oh, that was he may not have made the Brady catch, but he had made that catch.
Okay, all right. And how about Melvin Gordon? Great play with the laughing, crying face emojis. So that was fantastic. That's basically how the half ended. That gave the Eagles a 10-point advantage. That's where we sit right now, 22-12. Foles, pretty darn impressive in that first half. 13 of 22, 215, touchdown. The interception that really wasn't on him. That was a tough throw, tough way that thing deflected into the hands of Duron Harmon. But let's kind of take a look back here at the first 30 minutes, Charlie. Your overall impressions from what you've seen.
Impact of Malcolm Butler not being in there.
Wow.
Malcolm Butler doesn't start. Eric Rowe is their weakest corner. So what happens? What does Philadelphia do in the first drive? Twice on third down, they go after Eric Rowe. Second drive, deep on Eric Rowe, touchdown. But there is an effect of Rowe not only being in there, but then all of a sudden you got Jalen Richards. He's covering Corey Clement. No chance. He's covering Zach Ertz. No chance. You got Chung covering a wide receiver. Yep. Not a good matchup. The fallout of Butler had a chain reaction to allow the Philadelphia Eagles to throw the ball effectively in the first half.
Now, we knew Butler was dealing with some sort of illness coming into the game, but said he was going to be fine, certainly active. And then on the broadcast, we heard Al Michaels tell us that it was a coaching decision, Reggie, as to why Malcolm Butler wasn't in there, which is, boy, a little curious here.
Yeah, big time. That's one of those things where a former player, no matter how sick you are,
you're playing.
This is the biggest game of the year. You want your best guys out there. So this tells me somewhere in there that Malcolm Butler did something where he either missed a curfew or missed a meeting or something, things of that nature, because you want Malcolm Butler out there for the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, really curious.
It'll be interesting now is, does he play the second half?
That's what it is.
A bench for the first half?
That's what I want to see.
You know what?
I want to see that.
I won't do it again. Okay, get back in there.
well, Charlie, in for Malcolm Butler was Eric Rowe. And as I was reading through some of your notes coming into this game, it was for the Patriots, find out where Eric Rowe is and throw at him. And the Eagles certainly did that early on, didn't they?
Exactly. You know, first 2 third downs and went right at him, and they hit the big touchdown pass deep on their second possession there. You know, Eric Rowe, ironically, was with the Philadelphia Eagles. They traded him.
Second-round pick.
They might know something about him, but the reality is all you had to do is watch the tape. Eric Rowe is not a good corner. Now, if you get him in a situation where he can be backed off a little bit, play it in front of him, that's fine. But give the Eagles credit, okay? That's game planning. Good game planning.
Well, one thing about that, Rhett and Charlie, you know Eric Rowe is not a normal starter. He's their third corner.
He's their third corner.
So even when he comes in there, you know he's at least their third best guy. He's not had a ton of reps like these other starters. So that's the guy you want to target. So when the game started and he was starting out there,
they were like,
your antennas got to go up. Right there, that's when you say we got to go after this guy and see if he can perform in the big game.
I thought that was going to be a mismatch coming in if he was in the slot at all, having to cover Nelson Aguilar. Yeah. So that's something to watch here in the second half. And of course, the other thing, Charlie, that you were talking about coming into this game was the game plan for the Eagles to try to run the ball a little bit and control the clock. And well, this is how they were going to succeed. Control line of scrimmage and time of possession. How about 14 plays, 7 minutes and 5 seconds off the clock on the first drive? That's a start, right?
No question about it. You know, the first 2 playoff games, the Patriots with their big guys inside stuffed the run for Jacksonville and Tennessee. All right. So what you have here is you have a couple of factors. One, you've got an ability to get outside with Jai and Clement. That's number one. Number two, okay, if you can get to the Patriot linebackers, they're not very good against stopping the run. Number three, if you can get those big guys on the move and cut up, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can run the ball. So the Eagles, to me, did all 3 of those things in the running attack, and their offensive line, give them credit. They're better, and they said to themselves, hey, we're going to prove it, and they're proving it. They're winning the line of scrimmage in this football game.
And early on, it seemed like both defenses were kind of playing a little bit of that bend, don't break, and then they were tightening up in the red zone, as we've seen the Patriots do almost all year long. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, it was so wide open in this game in the first half. There were 13 plays of 20 yards or more, and another one at 19 yards. So the chunk plays in this game, Reggie, seem to be having a huge difference. The Pats have 7, Eagles have 6.
Well, it surprises me that the Patriots are actually giving up a lot of chunk plays, especially in a game like this. Because I'm thinking the best way for Nick Foles to win a game like this would be long drives where it'd be 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives.
Brady on the bench.
Exactly. Keep him on the bench. But he's finding ways to find Alshon Jeffries way downfield, making big plays, and that's surprising to me. Now, I knew Tom Brady eventually he would get Jalen Mills on a double move like he did
with
and find a big play
and
there.
Got Darby on a move, too.
Exactly. You know, so just to see the Patriots give up these big chunk plays is actually surprising.
I think that's the factor of Butler not being in the game and the chain reaction of the other players having to move over from there. Plus, the other thing is the Patriots have never been a good pass rush team all year. They got one guy rush the passer, and that's Trey Flowers. Now, they've been blitzing a little bit more today, but they're still not getting pressure on Foles.
Right.
The other side, they're making Brady a little bit uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, we saw Nigel Bradham with a big hit on Brady on the play that actually sent Brandon Cooks out of the game. If you're just tuning in here, Brandon Cooks on a long catch ended up losing some ground and then took a blindside hit from Malcolm Jenkins, and he has been ruled out of the game with a concussion. So obviously that's something to follow as well here in the second half, how the Patriots can regroup, maybe throw Philip Dorsett in that role at some point, another guy with some speed. I wanted to take a look at the drive chart in the first half for the Eagles because it started off really good. 14 plays, as I mentioned, 7 minutes, 5 seconds off the clock. Nick Foles completes passes to 5 different receivers on that drive. However, they only get a field goal out of it because one of the other themes in this first half, miscues. Zach Ertz false start down there on the 3-yard line, backs them up. They're unable to convert on 3rd and goal, and so Jake Elliott hits the field goal to put the Eagles on the board first 3-0. Then they come back on the second drive. How about 3 plays and a touchdown? Chunk plays again coming in. And then let's see, that 4th drive, which was the touchdown from LeGarrette Blount, I believe, the 21-yard touchdown. On that same drive, you had Zach Ertz, 19 yards. You had Alshon Jeffrey with that fantastic Willie Mays-type catch over his shoulder for 22, and then the Blount 21-yard score. So the chunk plays, again, something we've seen. But the miscues, to go back to that, In the kicking game,
the kicking game.
We've seen
yes.
it. I mean, Jake Elliott misses an extra point, and then the bad snap hold operation for the Patriots. These are things that you wouldn't expect to see in a Super Bowl.
You don't expect that, but the first thing that comes to mind with me is the Super Bowl. These are brand new footballs. They're not your old original balls that you've broken in all throughout the year. It is brand new Super Bowl footballs. When you kind of look at them on TV, those balls look a little shiny to me, Charlie. They don't look like your original football. So that's something that those guys weren't used to throughout the season and come up big for them this game.
You're right. I remember being on the competition committee. In the Super Bowl, those balls go someplace after the game. More so because you have a limit on how many balls you used to use during the game.
Right.
You have a lot more in the Super Bowl. That's an excellent point, Reggie. If those balls aren't rubbed down properly, you're going to have some slippery balls because you don't see that from the New England Patriots, especially.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those two guys, Joe Cardona and Ryan Allen, there's the snapper and holder, have been as good as it gets in the league. And then Steve Gostkowski, what he misses an extra point as well.
Yes.
Really uncharacteristic special teams kind of mix-ups or miscues early on in this game that has the Eagles up 22-12. Again, the Patriots were down 21-3 at the half.
We've seen this story
Last
before.
time you and I sat here doing this halftime show here on NFL Network, and obviously came back, and the rest is history there.
And one of the reasons they came back is, remember, Atlanta ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Okay? Philly's defense has not been on the field as much at this point in time. They got 30 minutes to recover. So that may help them avoid what happened to Atlanta a year ago. So
what's going to be interesting here is to see if Philly can come out with that same intensity defensively and continue to keep Tom Brady with pressure and kind of mix up the coverages here and there. So this is where experience kicks in. New England's been here before. Philly hasn't. Hopefully they come out with the same enthusiasm.
So as you get a look at what the side-by-side here, what each team has done in the first half, how about the total yards right now in the first half? That's monstrous. 323 for the Eagles to 350 for the Patriots. The other thing that sticks out to me, the third down conversions. The Eagles almost doubling up what the Patriots have been able to do on third down. Eagles have converted 5, Patriots just 2. And then the time of possession has the Eagles with an advantage of about 4 minutes here. And the other thing I wanted to mention as well, because we talked about it on the first drive, was Nick Foles he came out poised.
Yes.
He came out making his throws, and it almost seemed to me like Doug Peterson did a really good job trying to get him comfortable with some of those RPOs, some of the mesh kind of routes in the middle that made things a little bit more clear, Reggie. It seemed like he was comfortable from the start.
Well, I can tell you, Coach Peterson probably told Nick Foles, hey, take what New England gives you. Don't try to be greedy. Just take the checkdowns, take 5-6 yards here and there. That's okay. Let's just move the ball down the field and get into third and manageable. And then when we have our big chunk plays downfield, then we'll try to take advantage of it. So he's been doing a real great job of taking what they give him. He hit Zach Ertz early, over the middle, 5, 6, 7 yards. Nelson Aguilar here and there. So he's doing a real good job doing that. Now, the second half is going to determine if he can continue to play like that. As soon as you start being greedy with New England, that's when they come up and they get you.
And Reggie, Tom Brady, well, Nick Foles has not been perfect. Tom Brady has missed some throws now. He missed a throw down the middle to Rob Gronkowski that might have been a touchdown, ended up getting deflected by Jalen Mills. And it's been kind of curious where Gronk's been in this first half, Charlie.
Yeah, it really has. One of the things you can't see on television what the coverages are and what the plan is against Gronkowski. But even so, early on, they weren't throwing to Gronkowski in the red zone. I mean, they had him lined up with Mills one time, and they ran an inside route. Why aren't you running the fade versus the short corner in that situation? So Gronk was, to me, not used effectively in those first couple of series in the red zone.
5 targets, just 1 catch for 9 yards for Rob Gronkowski. Also dropped one, or kind of had it knocked out of his hands near what would have been a first down. And then as you get a look at the two quarterbacks, Brady nearing 300 yards already, both of them playing really well. And as I mentioned, Brady, though, missed a couple of throws, say somewhat uncharacteristically high and behind. James White was another one.
Could it be that hand that's supposed to be nicely healed that they've been talking about? Because he's been throwing some wobblers, too. A lot of those balls, that he hadn't been throwing pretty spirals out there.
It hasn't been the tight spiral, and they're playing indoors, so you can't say it's weather. So that's the situation. Now, he's gotten people around him, even though he hasn't been sacked, I believe, in the first half. But you can see he's a little bit uncomfortable at times, and maybe that pass rush might start to wear him down a little bit in there. New England on the right side is not very good. It's not a good matchup for him. Maybe it'll show up